Imagine taking a bunch of group selfies for a memorable moment only to find out after the fact that there's not a single keeper shot. We've all been there, right? Well, fret no more with the AI Best Expression feature of the Huawei Nova 13. Take a bunch of photos and individually pick the best facial expressions. It cannot get easier than that. That's just one of the main selling points of the Huawei Nova 13, but aside from that, it also features a 6.7-inch Full HD Plus OLED display with up to 120Hz refresh rate, a dual camera system at the back with a 50-megapixel ultra vision main camera and an 8-megapixel ultra-wide macro camera. Interestingly, they decided to use an ultra-wide portrait camera with a substantial 60-megapixel that allows you to take group selfies with ease. It also has 12GB of RAM, 256GB of storage, a substantial 5000 mAh battery that also supports up to 100 watts Huawei supercharged turbocharging technology and is powered by a Kirin 8000 processor. As always, I'm going to share with you 5 reasons why you should consider the Huawei Nova 13 and also some considerations that you need to be aware of before spending your hard-earned money. With that said, let's get into it. As always, honest disclaimer, this video is not paid. In fact, I just borrowed this from Huawei to share with you my honest experience. They will not see this video or my script prior to release. Now, the first reason why you should consider the Huawei Nova 13 is its camera system, highlighted by the quite unique and interesting 60-megapixel ultra-wide angle selfie camera. Usually, selfie cameras are just an afterthought when it comes to smartphones at this price range, but this time around, we've got a pretty compelling and definitely versatile selfie camera with a nifty feature up its sleeve. First, we have 3 different focal lengths here, 2 of which are of course an in-sensor zoom since we only have one camera module here, but since it features 60 megapixels, we have a bunch of resolutions to work with. As you can imagine, you can easily take group selfies with this, with all the subjects in the frame, thanks to its 100-degree field of view, and it's quite rare for me to see my tummy on a selfie shot. Both regular photo and portrait mode offers decent quality images, with good dynamic range, balancing both the highlights and the shadows, partnered with a fairly balanced and natural-looking image processing. This is using the stock settings, by the way, without messing around with the effects, filters, and beautifications. And speaking of image processing, as you can tell, it does a good job even in an extremely backlit environment, and in a well-lit angle, it produces an even better and natural-looking image. However, I would have to say, the edge detection for the portrait mode is kind of a hit or miss, as you can see in these examples. As for the main camera system at the back, the regular photo mode uses the 8-megapixel ultra-wide macro camera for the wide mode and the main 50-megapixel ultra vision camera for both the 1x and 2x as an in-sensor zoom. As you can tell, even though the ultra-wide angle camera is only 8 megapixels, it can still produce decent quality images with good dynamic range, decent sharpness, and overall decent image processing. But one thing that I'm impressed with here is the fact that they were able to maintain a pretty good color tone for the ultra-wide angle camera, because usually 8-megapixel ultra-wide cameras tend to produce a noticeably warmer tone compared to the main camera. But here is the other way around. The main camera offers a slightly warmer but more vibrant and contrasty image. The main 50 megapixels ultra vision camera of course produces better images with better contrast, sharpness, colors, and dynamic range with a pretty usable 2x in-sensor zoom. The main camera can also produce nice looking portrait shots with decent bokeh, but as I pointed out earlier, edge detection is a hit or miss, and if it misses, it's quite obvious. Now, the second reason why you should consider the Huawei Nova 13 is also related to the camera system, and that is the quite nifty AI Best Expression feature, and is one of the main selling points of the smartphone. As I alluded to earlier, this is perfect for those people who like taking selfie shots and group shots. Just simply take a bunch of photos, click on Edit, then choose AI Retouch, click on Best Expression, and simply pick the best facial expression for each subject, and you're pretty much golden. Easily one of the best AI features when it comes to smartphone cameras, other than the usual AI Smart Removal tool, which the Huawei Nova 13 also has, by the way. Of course, you'll need to have at least one decent shot from a bunch of shots for this to work as intended. Alright, so the third reason why you should consider the Huawei Nova 13 is its design and construction, targeted more towards the younger audience, offering a sleek and stylish design. It features a plaid rhythm design at the back, highlighted by a sort of matte frosted finish with a plaid pattern and a sleek and glossy finish around the sides. The debossed Huawei logo here also adds a little bit of character, partnered with the camera module that features a nice accent ring. It weighs roughly 197 grams and is just around 6.98mm thin. As you can tell, it also features relatively slim and uniform bezels in front, and we also have the volume rocker and power button on the right side, a secondary microphone up top, and SIM card tray, primary microphone, and USB Type-C port and speaker at the bottom. By the way, it also has an under-display fingerprint reader with a pretty decent performance and smooth animation. Moving on, the fourth reason why you should consider the Huawei Nova 13 is its display and overall performance. It features a 6.7-inch Full HD Plus OLED display with up to 120Hz refresh rate, and out of the box, browsing through the user interface is quite smooth, and under dynamic mode, it quickly switches from 60Hz to 120Hz on demand, and most stock applications work at 120Hz, which is nice. With an OLED panel and a decent Full HD Plus 2412 by 1084 resolution with up to at least 394 pixels per inch density, the display quality is pretty good with decent viewing angles, colors, contrast, and details. I'm not sure exactly about its peak brightness, but as you can tell, it can get pretty bright. As for the performance, the Huawei Nova 13 is powered by a Kirin 8000 processor with a Mali G610 graphics, 12GB of RAM, and 256GB of internal storage. And with an Antutu benchmark of 587,380, it is decent enough for day-to-day tasks. I didn't encounter any significant hiccups. With that said, here are all the benchmarks that I ran on the Huawei Nova 13 so that you can have tangible data to compare with your current or target smartphone. Now in terms of gaming, very high graphics and max frame rate are available in Call of Duty Mobile, and I would say the gaming experience is pretty decent. No hiccups, no frame drops or anything significant. However, it only runs at 60Hz. Now high frame rate and ultra graphics are also available in Mobile Legends, and as expected, smooth and responsive gaming experience as well here, although also at 60Hz. Now, it is also quite smooth in Real Racing 3, and I'm happy to report that it supports 120Hz refresh rate, which is nice. In Genshin Impact, it's playable, but not as smooth as I would prefer. The default setting is lowest at 30fps, and you should probably stick with that to get a decent gaming experience. By the way, we also have a sort of gaming assistant here with features like motion control, do not disturb, and I guess brightness lock, and you can also add application shortcuts here and enable performance mode. But that's about it. No system info overlay and other features. Now, the fifth reason why you may consider the Huawei Nova 13 is its decent battery life and charging speed. With the 5000 mAh battery, it was able to last up to 10 hours and 32 minutes in PCMark Work 3.0 battery life benchmark with 50% brightness and volume. And with 100 watts Huawei Supercharged turbocharging technology, I was able to charge it from 10% to 61% in just 17 minutes and only under an hour for 100% charge, which is pretty decent. Now, those are the 5 main reasons why you should consider the Huawei Nova 13, but let me share with you some considerations and other details that you need to know so that you can make a proper informed decision. At this point, we all know that Huawei smartphones don't have a native Google Play Store. The good thing is that getting your favorite apps is easier than ever thanks to its continuously growing app gallery. App Gallery is Huawei's official app store, and it has most of the sought-after apps like Shopee, TikTok, Gcash, CapCut, and Maya, and we even have BDO and other banking apps. You can also search and install Google Apps here, and if you can find the app you need, you can also find it via Gbox, including various Google apps and Netflix. Now, another thing worth mentioning is that it only has a single firing speaker, and while it's pretty decent to say the least, I still prefer stereo speakers for a more immersive experience. Here, take a listen. Aside from that, while the selfie and main camera are pretty good and useful, it could have been better if we had a dedicated telephoto lens for proper portrait photography and to complete the arsenal. But I also understand that they had to cut corners to make the price competitive. And lastly, this is actually quite baffling, but the Huawei Nova 13, at least the variant that I have here, doesn't support 5G. Only 4G LTE, so yeah. Other than that, if you can get past the fact that it doesn't support 5G, I think the Huawei Nova 13 is a pretty decent smartphone overall at this price range. It has a nice and trendy design, decent quality display, unique and outstanding selfie camera, partnered with some nifty AI features, including the AI best expression. It also has a substantial battery capacity and outstanding charging speed, not to mention a pretty decent overall performance, making it a nice mid-range daily driver as long as you don't use 5G connection. I can recommend this to those people who love taking selfies, especially group selfies, as you'll be hard-pressed to find a smartphone at this price range with a comparable 60-megapixel, 100-degree field of view ultra-wide-angle selfie camera. And there you have it guys, thank you for watching. Huge thanks to Huawei Philippines for letting me experience the Huawei Nova 13. Again, this video is not paid and they'll see this video at the same time as you do. And I also have to return this just for full transparency. I'll put some links below if you're interested. Thank you for watching, subscribe if you appreciate this video, and see you next time. Have a great day guys, you're awesome.